What's up, Titans fans? It's your boy CD back again with another episode of Titan Up Today. It's Week 5's matchup preview between us and the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills come into Nissan Stadium 4-0, undefeated, atop the AFC conference at this point in time. But we're right up there with them as well. 3-0, undefeated after the impromptu bye last week where we should have played the Steelers. COVID-19 obviously is still an issue, but no need to delay. Let's get down to it. All right, so Week 5 is here. We're ready to go. Buffalo Bills, big game, huge game. We're missing some players. Right now, COVID obviously struck the New England Patriots. Cam Newton was out last week. They were hurt by that. This week, there's a possibility he doesn't play again. Right now, we have Adam Humphries and Corey Davis, along with Jeffrey Simmons, some major names that are on this COVID list that hopefully we'll be able to have back for this week, but it's not even certain. They haven't been ruled out officially just yet, but with no practices in, the game now being scheduled for Tuesday gives us a little bit more flexibility and leeway, but at this point in time, we have no idea what's to come. So with that said, our offense can take a huge ding in the middle of our defense up front against the run as well as the pass could take a major hit, but we're still going to break this game down and we'll see how this looks on paper leading up to this Week 5 matchup. So let's go right into it. The first thing I want to talk to you guys about is a team offense. Our total offense right now, we're averaging 26.7 points per game, which is 12th in the league, 391.7 total yards per game, 11th, and 210 plays. Right now it shows 31st in the league, but that's because we had that bye last week, right? So we went from like up towards the top in the top 10, but whenever you don't run 70 plays after 1 week, you tend to go towards the bottom. So some of these numbers might be a little bit skewed because of that. Again, another one would be 72 first downs for us, putting us at 29th right now currently. We do have that +5 turnover differential, which has us as number 2 or tied for second in the league with only one giveaway all season on offense, which is good. That one interception that we had, a little slip up by Ryan Tannehill on week 3. So we're 42.5% on third down, which is in the middle of the road right now, and still 2 for 2, 100% tied for first on fourth down conversions. Now, 112 yards on penalties looks really good when we're sitting in third place right now. It looks like we're extremely disciplined, but again, taking account that we didn't play last week, so those are a couple yards we might have had on there that aren't being showed. So right now we're tied for showing third place, but it's not really a good number to look at. On the other hand, we're looking at the Buffalo Bills team defense, which is going to be responsible for stopping our offense. Right now, they're giving up 25 points per game, which is in the middle of the road right now. 381.3 yards per game. Also 23rd towards the bottom, 95 first downs, 22nd. That's 48.9% on third down conversions. Again, towards the bottom. This defense doesn't look to be as stout as it once was. 210 penalty yards, somewhere in the middle, +1 turnover differential right now, tying them for 13th. There's 6 turnovers, tying them for 13th. Their defense has been very opportunistic. At this point in time, they have 6 takeaways, having them tied for 9th place. This is big for them. It seems like the way that they're staying these games is via the turnover, obviously in the top 10 on the defensive turnover side, but they are giving up a lot of yardage. That's on the ground as well as through the air, but we'll break down specifically our rush offense right now against their rush defense to see how they shake out against us. As you see here, the Titans right now with 90 rush attempts has us tied for 20th place. Again, we did not rush the ball at all last week, and we're still in the top 20 of 32 teams, still towards the bottom, but a lot of rushing from us. I think that might be the story this week as well. 129 yards per game is 10th in the league, and with those 2 lonely touchdowns, we're still tied for 27th towards the bottom. And with the 0 explosive runs, has us dead last. We still have not had a run over 3 weeks that are longer than 20 yards. That hurts a little bit. Now, we'll be going up against a Buffalo Bills rush defense that averages 101 yards per game, 4.4 yards per carry on 92 attempts so far this year. They've only given up 4 touchdowns and 0 explosive plays, which is kind of scary because we have 0 explosive plays, and we definitely need to start getting some explosive plays in our running game. We'll be looking at Derrick Henry, once again, number 22, to come in and start to be explosive in the running game and not only have 3.5 yards per carry, but actually stretch out and start to get some bigger, longer runs later in the game like he used to get back in November and also obviously in the playoffs to get us on that run. But anyways, Derrick Henry as our lead back right now currently is number 2 in the league in carries with 82 carries, 319 yards. He's 5th in the league. He's still averaging less than 4 yards per carry at 3.9. He did get those 2 touchdowns the last time he played, but again, 0 explosive plays. And just think about that too. 82 carries. He's 2nd in the league right now, and he didn't even play last week. That's a lot of carries. But they have a linebacker core, and a good defense. Jordan Poyer, as a strong safety, is always up on the line, making tackles. But right now, we're going to talk about the linebacker, who is Tremaine Edmunds. Tremaine Edmunds has 21 tackles. Currently, 14 of those are solo and a half of a tackle for a loss. Now, our pass offense is going to have to be supplemented, obviously, with the run. We're going to run the ball. But when we're not, handing the ball off to Derrick Henry or hopefully Darrington Evans as well, getting the running game going, where it's going to be a lot of play action, trying to loosen up that secondary and get some plays. Our pass offense is how we'll be doing that, and that's with 104 attempts currently, has us 30th in the league. Naturally, we didn't pass at all last week. 262.7 yards per game is 11th in the league, and we have 9 explosive plays, and we've only been sacked 4 times all season long. The Buffalo Bills pass defense is currently giving up 280.3 yards per game, which is towards the bottom of the league, and 67.7% of their passes attempted are completed on them, which is 21st in the league. They're giving up 7.4 yards per attempt. 7 touchdowns they've given up, along with 2 interceptions that they've gotten, which puts them in the middle of the pack, tied for 18th. The quarterback rating that they're giving up is 99 currently on the dot. 10 sacks they've gotten all season, and they've also given up 15 explosive plays through the air, which ties them for 25th in the league. This is something that we might be able to take advantage of, as we have been able to stretch the field with the pass game. Obviously, Khalif Raymond had a couple pass catches way long. We're talking about 50-yard receptions, big explosive plays that we're able to do in the pass game. Hopefully we'll be able to take advantage of that. And the guy who will lead us in that is obviously Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill, number 17, 105.8 quarterback rating, is 9th in the league currently. 67.3 completion percentage with 809 yards, 7.8 yards per attempt, 6 touchdowns, and that 1 lone touchdown in week 3. But hopefully we'll be turning it around. He'll be throwing the ball to, not this week, more than likely, but Corey Davis is our stat leader at 15 receptions, 206 yards receiving, 13.7 yards per catch at this point with the 1 touchdown, but he does have 3 explosive plays. Now, A.J. Brown would be able to be on the field and be our lead horse, being able to go out and catch some balls from Ryan Tannehill this week, along with Jonnu Smith. So Jonnu Smith currently, right now, is at 13 receptions, 181 yards receiving, 13.9 yards per clip, and 3 touchdowns, which is tied for 9th in the league. And those 3 touchdowns, out of those 3 touchdowns, he does have 3 explosive plays as well. Now, the Buffalo Bills, they used to have a really, really good, strong D-line. They've lost a couple players. Right now, their D-line is kind of anchored from a pass rushing standpoint by Mario Addison. Mario Addison's got 8 tackles, 6 solos, 2 sacks, and 3 tackles for a loss. This is the guy that we need to make sure that we keep our head on and make sure that we're able to continue to throw the ball as we please and just take what they give us. They look like they're going to give us plenty of yards through the air. Take it when we can, when the matchups are right. On the other hand, run the ball when we can as well and keep them off guard. Now, whenever we're throwing the ball, Trey White just signed a huge contract this year. It's been kind of quiet in the interception statistical category this year, but he's still got 4 pass deflections, 13 tackles, and 11 of those tackles are solo. So he's somebody who's, you can definitely guarantee he's going to be traveling with A.J. Brown on every play if there's no other wide receivers out there, meaning Corey Davis or Adam Humphries. So A.J. Brown will have his hands full for sure, but a strong guy like A.J., it's going to be a good battle just between those two, but we should be okay when it comes down to the passing attack. Now, the Buffalo Bills offense, they currently are putting up 30.8 points per game. That ties them for fifth. 409.8 total yards per game. That's fourth. 257 plays they've run so far with 98 first downs. That's eighth. They're plus one of the turnover differential, as we said earlier, and they only had 5 giveaways, which kind of puts them in the middle to top range. They're 51.1% on third down conversions, has them tied for 5th place. When it's fourth down, they've been 3 for 3, and that ties them for first place with 100%. Penalty yards, they have been a little sloppy with 270 penalty yards this season, putting them at 27th in the league. The Tennessee Titans defense, we're currently giving up 24.7 points per game. That's middle of the road, but the 422.3 yards per game is 28th in the league. This is a problem. We have 71 first downs that we've given up, but that number is kind of a lie because we didn't play last week. But that third down conversion, 51.5%, is bad, and it has us 29th in the league. We're going up against a team that converts 51.1%. We're just tied for 5th, and then we are giving up more than that. We got to get off the field this week. Big time. We have to get off the field. Anyway, so penalty yards, we have 136 penalty yards, and the turnover differential is still +5, which is great. We've been very opportunistic, and it's 6 takeaways, has us tied for 9th in the league, and that's even after we didn't play last week. We're still in the top 10 in takeaways, so keep that up. But right now, let's talk about the rushing offense of the Buffalo Bills. Now, the Buffalo Bills rushing the ball currently have 100 attempts. That's it, and they're averaging 93.5 yards per game, which is 28th in the league. As you notice, they're not running the ball often, and they're not doing much with it. They have 4 touchdowns and have 0 explosive plays, which actually is last. Now, our Titans rush defense is absolutely miserable right now, miserable. And I think that this has to be the week where we put it all together against a not so robust rush offense, but 166 yards per game is 29th in the league, and we're giving up an amazingly horrible number of 5.8 yards per carry, which is dead last in the league on the ground. That's absolutely miserable. We cannot do that. The 86 rush attempts, along with the 3 touchdowns and the 4 explosive plays, somewhat are skewed because, again, we did not play last week. So what are we going to be doing this week? We have to stop Devin Singletary. Devin Singletary, their running back, young guy, has 50 carries on the year, 213 yards rushing, averaging 4.3 yards per carry, only has 1 touchdown this year, but he can be explosive, as we've seen a little bit in his rookie year as well as in college. So our linebacking core will be tasked to take down Devin Singletary and keep his numbers where they stand. The guy who will be tasked to do that, along with Rashad Evans, will be Jayon Brown. Jayon Brown currently has 20 tackles. 11 of those are solo, 0 sacks, but he just have 2 tackles for a loss. We need to move the line of scrimmage with Jeffrey Simmons. There's a good possibility we do not have him, so this is kind of scary, but we have to tackle, fill the correct gaps, tackle when we get there, because these guys are explosive enough. And Devin Singletary, although he hasn't been running well this season, he's shown us that he's very explosive. As his rookie season last year, that he was good enough to do some damage at some times. But nonetheless, we have to worry about that. But the guy we really have to worry about is his pass offense. The Buffalo Bills have attempted 148 passes for 316.3 yards per game, which is currently 2nd in the league. They have 21 explosive plays, which is 2nd in the league. They've only given up 9 sacks all season. This is a high-powered pass offense. Josh Allen, the rookie, is no longer with us. This guy has gone from okay to good to great, and he's really approaching rapidly elite and the top quarterback in the NFL. The Tennessee Titans pass defense has not been jumping off the stat sheet by any means. We're giving up 256.3 yards per game, which is 21st in the league. 64.8% completion percentage is actually top 10, so we need to keep that up. And at 7.7 yards per attempt, it's in the middle of the road along with 7 touchdowns, but 4 interceptions, has us tied for 6th. And again, we did not play last week, so we might have had another one and put us in near the top, but tied for 6th is looking good in the pass defense. We're giving up 94.4 quarterback rating to quarterbacks, which is almost right outside the top 10, which is sound. It's pretty good. We've gotten 4 sacks this year, and we've given up 9 explosive plays in the offense. Again, we're going up against a team that has a ton of explosive plays with 21, so we'll need to limit those explosive plays immediately, starting from the word go, and then keep it down the entire time. Josh Allen is a gunslinger. He defines what a gunslinger is. He can throw the ball all over the field. He can make all the throws. This dude can run too, but we have to worry about him in the passing game. His statistics are absolutely nuts. Right now, 122.7 quarterback rating, 70.9 completion percentage, has him tied for 9th. That quarterback rating, by the way, 3rd in the league. 1,326 yards passing, 3rd in the league. 9 yards per pass attempt, 2nd in the league. 12 touchdowns, has him tied for 3rd, and only 1 interception. The guy can throw the ball, and with Stephon Diggs and Cole Beasley, he has options now, and he's willing to use them. Stephon Diggs, 26 receptions, 403 yards receiving. Those 26 receptions has him tied for 9th, and the 403 yards receiving tied for 2nd. He's averaging 15.5 yards per catch, 2 touchdowns, and 8 explosive plays. 8 explosive plays has him tied for 1st place in the NFL at this point. So that is his number 1 deep threat at this point in time. Cole Beasley is a good slot type, quick slasher, similar to our Adam Humphries. He's good, and he's got 18 receptions, 260 yards, 14.4 yards on average, 1 touchdown with 5 explosive plays himself, and that ties him for 8th in the league. These guys are able to do a lot of things in the air, and with Josh Allen throwing the ball, this could be a problem. So we do have that front 4 that we love to talk about. It could be that Jeffrey Simmons is not there with us. Jadeveon Clowney needs to step up. Correa needs to step up from the 4th outside linebacker spot. Vic Beasley, these guys need to get to Josh Allen and bring him down immediately. Don't let him run. Don't let him get escape. Bring him down. Tackle him. The guy that we have right now leading our D-line / outside linebacker core pass rushers, if we will, Harold Landry. Harold Landry currently has 18 tackles. 13 of those tackles are solos and a half of a sack, but he's been in the backfield a lot. We need to be there and wrap him up. Do not let him escape, and we can do some big things against their pass defense. Now, Kenny Vaccaro in the back, like I said, Kevin Byard is the captain, got it. But Vaccaro has been all over the place. Drafted in the 1st round way back in the day, it seems like. He is a top safety in the league, but he's kind of quiet. Right now, statistics say otherwise. He got 22 tackles, 18 of those are solo, 1 sack, 2 tackles for a loss, but he's always around the line of scrimmage. Kind of reminds me of, like, not as athletic as Polamalu, but more like, say, like a Harrison Smith. Like, the guy's just always around the line of scrimmage doing some real big damage in the run game, but also can make some pass deflections in the back, on the backside, and help out the secondary. Now, as we know, 3 phases to the game, and there's always special teams. So let's go into special teams. Special teams, we are now tied for 24th in the league in field goal percentage. This is something that I'm excited about because we were 25% after week 1. After week 1, we were 25%. Right now, we're at 75%, which is not all that great, but we're definitely moving along. And as Gostkowski put up the 6th field goal performance, that definitely helped out our field goal percentage. And our net average currently is 9th in the league at 45.3. There's 6 of those kicks have been inside the 20. That's tied for 13th. All right, so our 17.2 yards per kickoff return is 30th in the league. I spoke about this a couple weeks ago. It's bad. It just looks really bad on paper, but it looks bad watching the game. It's something special about Desmond Jennings, which is no longer on the team, but whenever you get the ball, you didn't know he might bring it back. He definitely is going to get you 20, 25, maybe even 30 yards every time we had the ball in his hand on a kickoff return. I know we just made the switch to Khalif Raymond. Khalif Raymond doing punt return as well as kick returns, but this week is something that we need to steal something. We need to steal a touchdown on special teams would be great, but definitely flip field position to put pressure on their defense. And if it's not with the kickoff return game, putting that pressure, I think that we can do that in the punt return game. Now, the Buffalo Bills are actually last now in field goal percentage with 66.7% of their field goals are made. Net average when they're punting is 44.5. They've only put 4 of their punts inside the 20-yard line, which is tied for 18th. The 25.8 yards per kick return is 7th, and their 15.5 yards per punt return is 2nd. This is the complete opposite of what we're doing on special teams, and this could be an issue as we need to make sure that we cover kicks as well as return kicks. We need to make sure that we cover kicks and do not allow them to do any damage to us in special teams. Obviously, special teams is extremely important, and we do not want to lose the game via special teams. So we got to make sure we do this. I can tell you personally, week 5 of last year really got inside of me and really messed me up. When we played the Buffalo Bills, we should have won that game. This was the game where Carlos Santos missed all those field goals and we ended up losing the game by I think like 9 points or something like that. Whatever it was, we shouldn't have lost the game, and it was definitely, I hate to blame it on the kicker, but definitely puts a lot of that on Carlos Santos. He obviously didn't kick for us anymore after that game, but this is the week we get to redeem ourselves. That Buffalo Bills the Buffalo Bills team that we played last year was good. This team, I would argue, is much better, but I can also say that our team is much better. Hopefully COVID doesn't strike us too rough, but if we're able to put together a good package of players and go out there, I say that we can win this game and definitely have the benefit come to us. But special teams could be an issue. Their pass game, man, it could be an issue, especially if we're unable to get off the field. Their rushing game, we should be able to keep that contained. And our rushing game, we have to put the grinds to them every single time. I like to see Derrick Henry, who is now rested, well rested, and then gets another couple days because we're playing on Tuesday night as opposed to Sunday. Completely rested. Give him 30 carries. This is the game where we just pound the ball, keep the ball out of Josh Allen's hand, and then we pound it and then take a couple shots here and there whenever we can because they do give up some explosive plays. I think that we have a good opportunity. Well, that concludes this week's preview between us and the Buffalo Bills. Join us next time whenever I bring you guys the game predictions, Saturday game predictions coming up. And if you like this episode or any other episode in the past, click the like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, and click that notifications bell. Get notified the next time I upload another episode. But before you leave, I got one question for you. Why tighten up tomorrow when you could tighten up today?